The Lord gave this command to Joshua, son of Nun. Be strong and courageous, for you will bring the Israelites into the land I promised them on oath, and I myself will be with you. Deuteronomy 31 verse 23, hearing the voice of God. Look at this one. Imagine the Lord is now commanding Joshua. And remember, Joshua was not his original name. What was the original name of Joshua? And the Lord is telling him some few things. So let us look at some of the powers you will find in the voice of God. The original name of Joshua was Hoshea, son of Nun. It is recorded in Numbers 13 and verse 16. If you look at the command of the Lord, number one, when the Lord speaks and you hear that was God speaking to you, the voice of God releases the energy of strength. He is saying, be strong. So the moment you hear God has spoken to you, immediately there is an empowerment with the divine energies that make you abnormally strong, like Samson. He is telling him, be strong. Imagine God telling you to be strong. He cannot tell you to be strong and he does not supply tonics and supernatural capsules of energizing you. The voice of God is the best energy booster. Number two, he says, and be courageous. If God speaks to you and you hear him speaking, one of the things you will notice yourself is that you automatically, spontaneously, explosively become unexplainably bored. You notice you start to express some certain kind of courage and confidence that you cannot explain about its source. To a point people will be asking you, what are you basing this confidence of yours on? Because the voice of God, the moment it is relayed into your system, because God himself is indomitable, God himself is formidable, the voice releases the virtues and the nature and the character of God in the man. So the moment you hear God is speaking, you will notice you don't fear anything anymore in this world. You become like a lion. The lion can look at a gigantic elephant and you will see it as a ranch, not as a huge behemoth. Do you see even lion going to hunt crocodile, alligators? It's a very small animal. Lion is a very small animal. But look at the kind of the animals it challenges, and it will bring it down simply because of one thing: courage. When you hear God speaking, that voice of him releases in you bold systems. You just become unexplainably bold. He says, you will bring the Israelites in the land I promised them on oath. Something else that is very, very, very important why you should hear the voice of God is because the voice of God gives you the power to enter into your destiny. He is telling Joshua, you will bring these people to the land I promised them on oath. So the Lord is telling Joshua that. What if Joshua never had that? He would have just become like a normal leader, or just like Moses, stay with the people in the wilderness until his time of leadership comes to an end. And he would not have moved forward. He would not have progressed this. But when the voice of God spoke, the voice of God commissioned or now released Joshua to access the destiny. And that one is very, 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 very important. Why? Because many people, if you go and do your own studies, you shall notice people are somewhere in the struggle of decision making. In the struggle of decision making. But they are trying to move, they're not moving. They are trying to move, they're not moving. Why? Because you don't have the power to access the realm of your destiny. Moses tried to cross Jordan to enter into the land of Canaan. Even he pleaded with God. He prayed severally. And God told him, enough. You cannot cross. It is Joshua who is going to cross there. It is Joshua who is going to enter into the land that I promised Israel. You get me? So the voice of God gives you the commissioning energy that helps you and enables you to now access your destiny. And that one is very important. Something else when God speaks is, and I myself will be with you. The moment you hear God speaking, even if it will just call your name, Joel, just calling you your name only, but you know that was God who spoke. That one, that voice is an affirmation and a confirmation and a guaranteed assurance of the presence of God. He's telling him, and I'll be with you. And God cannot speak, and he is not after what he said to bring it to pass. The moment you hear God has said something, from that moment, even if you run away from God, like Jonah, he will still get hold of you and bring you back. Why? Whatever you heard him speak, he will be in you. He will be on your case until all that what he told you comes to pass. That's why it is very sweet to hear God speaking. Because even if it will be in a hot pit, it will be knowing he is with me. Because the voice of God is a sure, guaranteed confirmation of the active presence of God. How did Joshua position himself to hear the voice of God according to scripture? Is being under Moses. If you consider that chapter, it is chapter number 31, and you consider verse 7. Then Moses summoned Joshua and he said to him in the presence of Israel, be strong and courageous, the same language God has said, for you must go with these people into the land of that the Lord swore to their forefathers to give them, and you must divide it among them as their inheritance. The Lord himself will go before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. So now Moses is repeating what the Lord was telling Joshua. The Lord spoke to Joshua in verse 23, and Moses had repeated it. So meaning the voice of God being heard by Joshua depended on his submission under a spiritual authority. Submission under a spiritual authority. So as long as Joshua has put himself under the ministry system of Moses, God can speak with him. If he go out of the system of Moses, God can't speak with him. He will be called a rebel. And that's why you notice many people, they have the calling, but they don't have the voice of God. Why? They are outside their Moses. The moment you put yourself under a Moses, you will hear God.